These years when it's time to hit the stage, I still get super nervous. I like to be in control. I like to know that things are gonna go the way I want them to go, because I put so much time and effort into them going that way. And I know if I do it my way, then I'm not gonna be disappointed. If I do it your way, it may be a disappointment. So I'm gonna do it my way. And I know my way is gonna be the way that fits me, that I'm comfortable in. So that's the calmness to like this whole riot when it comes to me. I had a great childhood, absolutely. Yeah, you know, my family lived directly in Miami, which was Liberty City. I didn't actually live in Liberty City, but it was like my family's house, so that was the hangout spot every day. You know, I went to school in Liberty City, my mom's salon in Liberty City, another store in Liberty City. So just to be able to hang, this was where I grew up at. This is where I hung out at every single day while my mom was working, doing hair at the salon. We'd be there every day, and then when it's time to go home, I leave. So, you know, I had two different versions, you know, the city and the suburbs. But the city, that's where it was at. That's, you know, that's where I learned everything from, you know, how to just grow up, how to adapt, how to deal with just the guys, you know, how to be respected. You know, I came from a well-respected family, so I grew up into that. My mom was the type of woman that you had to have the utmost respect from. When it comes to a man, there is no such thing as not being treated as a queen. That wasn't tolerated. All I saw was the royal treatment. All I saw was never accept a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to that. And I had two amazing stepfathers. My mom was married to my stepfather. He passed away. And then I had another stepfather. And those are the men that raised me. Well, my mom owned some stores and salons and stuff, so she would be working. Like sometimes she would be in there 24 hours. Like it's time for us to go to school and she's still doing hair. Like women would still be getting their hair done. And so, you know, sometimes we had a caretaker, somebody that would always watch us. Sometimes, like when we're home and she's at the salon. And sometimes in the morning, it's time to go to school. We just have to go in a limo. We just have to get to school. It doesn't matter that she's not there. It just always, you know, was made away. And that was just something I grew up. It's just the weirdest thing when I say that, but yeah. It was just a different raising. You know, we were catered and cared for and watched carefully. Just because of the type of lifestyle my mom had, that's previously before me, so therefore she had to make sure I was super protected. So, you know, yeah, I just grew up like that, always seeing my mom never ever have a down day. Never say there's a day that she don't have it. Never say there's a day that no, you can't have it. Never is there a day, I never was told no. It was always, the world is yours and everything in it, and as long as I'm here, that's gonna happen. You know, as soon as I fly home, I always go to my mom's house first. You know, I'm gone for the weekend, so I always go there. And this particular day is Thanksgiving, so I just know, like, the pots is on the stove, the mac and cheese in the oven, like, it's just gonna be, you know, this is always what happened. So when I get there, I didn't smell no food, and I didn't see her. She was actually in her room, and that just wasn't like her. So I went in the room, and she was just laying in the bed, like, just laying there, and I was like, "Are you okay, Mom?" She was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I was like, "Well, why aren't you up? I don't see food or nothing. Do you feel good?" And she was like, "A little." And then I just, you know, I was like, "A little, you know, what does that mean?" She was just like, "Oh, no, you know, just, you know, stomach hurt, not really feeling good." I was like, "Okay." And then I was like, "But it looks like you're in pain or something." And then I was like, "Okay, we're going to the hospital." That day I spent Thanksgiving at the hospital. And when I took her there, I remember them just doing all these tests and all this stuff. It was just like stressing me out. They said she had kidney stones or something. So I was like, okay, well, is that fixable, you know? And then it was like, yeah, you know, we just have to do a surgery, whatever. I convinced her to stay for the surgery because they could have did it like right away. So she was in there maybe like a week or so before she had the surgery. And then after the surgery, I went back because I wanted to physically see the doctor and like know, what the process. And then the doctor says to me, well, your mom is diagnosed with cancer. And I was looking at him like, sir, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's what I was saying. And then I was like, where is my mom? And then he was like, she's in there, she's out of recovery, whatever. And I go see her, and she was, asleep. And I just sat there for a while, and he was like, would you like me to explain? I was like, no, I just want you to leave. And so he left, and I stayed there with her the night. I spent the night, and then the next morning, she woke up. He came in maybe like early in the morning, like 7 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning or something, and he goes, like, I think we should talk. He told my mom what he told me, but I walked out. When I came back, she was just real quiet or whatever. So I never said a word. I didn't say anything. And then the next day, I came back to the hospital, and I goes to her, so, like, what is he saying? Like, what does that mean? It just happened so fast. She stayed in the hospital until, from Thanksgiving, which is November, until, like, right before her birthday, which is just past February the 10th. So that was a while being in there. And it was just tests and this and all this stuff. And I just wanted to move her from this particular hospital. And I took her somewhere else. They were basically saying kind of the same things and kind of giving more in depth of what it was and the type of cancer. And I don't think I wanted to believe or understand the word. I just hate that word. I don't know how to process it. And it was just happening so fast. And when the treatment started happening, then I was really like, no. For me, like, a lot of it was, for me, a lot of it was, I think I was just in disbelief a lot. And then, I mean, you could just see, it's like this person that, is like the strongest person that you've ever seen is now helpless, and there's nothing you could do about it.
It's the most wonderful time.
Hello.
To me, he's like the father of Miami. Because when I grew up, Luke was just known for like all the girls, nice bodies and just, that. But for us as kids, it was more than that. Because that was for the adults. So then that's where he had the Pac Jam, which was a teen disco for the kids. So we got a chance to like see Luke, but the kiddie version of Luke, not the adult version of Luke. So we had to separate the two. Then at the Pac Jam, Luke would have like, it would be like different, back then it was like dance groups or dance competition. He'll have all his girls and he'll have guys dance. They come to teen disco dance, and then you'll have local artists that perform, and stuff like that. And so some of his dancers friends with, they were at his studio. They would all go there like to, rehearse their dance moves or whatever. So they called me, they was like, hey, come by the studio. So I got my friend Pinky, and we go to the studio. So they got this song like, oh no, I'm not getting in there, I'm not going in there. So we ended up going in there anyway. And so she goes, Pinky, it's your birthday. And I'm like, Trina, it's your birthday. So we did the song, cool. Couple weeks after, they call us like, oh, well, we're shooting a video to It's Your Birthday. Y'all should come. I'm like, my mama gonna kill me. Like, I can't be in no Luke video. And so they was like, oh no, it's gonna be good, whatever. So they got this big old mansion, all these girls is coming. We done snuck in with our little bathing suits, our stuff in the video. So if you watch this video, there's this clip in the beginning of the video of me and her, like right in front of this cake. And I swear I was looking like 15 years old or something. Now when Luke come, he bring out the real girls. These are the ones that with the mousse-up dress and bodies is banging, butts is out. And he spotted us, he saw me. He was like, oh, you gotta get from here now. If you don't, he went crazy. Like, man, your mama's gonna kill me if she know you was here. Saying all this stuff. He did not know I was there. He was like, oh no, it's time for you to go. and we left the video. But we had fun though. That was my little fun experience about it. And I just love how he, you know, he grounded our culture, and he stood up for something when it comes to us in this hip hop, you know, because it really started from him for Miami. To me, you know, first thing you think of Miami, you think of Luke. Like when you come to Miami, that was the first thing. Then there's Trick, there's me, there's Ross, there's all these people. But Luke is definitely the pioneer of it. Hollywood, I met when I was in high school, and just a different type of person, just a different guy, you know. He was very honest, very charming, gentleman. And he just really looked out for me, like really watched out for me. Trick was actually in jail when I was dating Hollywood. But Trick would call me all the time from there because he would always want to say his raps and stuff, and I would just be like, okay. And so he was like, when he get out, he's gonna be this big rapper and all this. So he was like, okay. And at that time, Hollywood, his brother actually was into music. You know, he would put on concerts, he would do promotions for concerts. So Trick thought that would be probably a good outlet. And me and Hollywood, you know, we had the best relationship. Like we were friends, mostly more than anything. He was just like a great person to be around. And one day, I was in a car with him. We went to like a fun place, like a Grand Prix Race-A-Rama type of thing. And then afterwards, I think they were gonna go to a club or something. So I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna go too. He was like, no, you're not gonna go. You need to go home or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. So I left, I go home, and him and his friends go out somewhere. And I was asleep, and I just remember like maybe 3:30, I just kind of rolled over and just realized he didn't call me, he's not here. I was paging him, I was beeping him, and I was calling him, and he didn't call back or anything. At about maybe 6 a.m., his sister called me. She was kind of like hysterical, and I was like, hey, what's happening? And she said, turn on the news. And I turned the news on, and I just remember just seeing his friend car on the news, and the car was just badly shot up. A couple of my friends, two of my best friends, they knew it was him. Somebody who worked at the hospital told them, they identified his teeth. He had a grill, they said what it was. That's the only way you could tell him, but they didn't tell me. So as we're driving to his mom, I just knew. When we pulled up, his mom came out the door, and she just saw me, and she just started screaming and hollering. And from then, I had fell out. I didn't remember nothing else after that. I just completely blacked out. That was the first time something like that happened to me, me being involved. He was the most caring, careful, not bothersome person. You're in the car with your friend. I was in the car with you. Had you not told me to get out and go home, maybe I wouldn't be here doing this interview. I was in the car. Not only did they, you know, shoot up the car, they came up to the car to make sure the job was done. It was almost unrecognizable, like half of his head, like it just, I just didn't understand. I didn't understand. So, I come from a family of this, so I already know this, but the family, they're more mature. They in the streets, but they're not in the streets. They're not hanging out in the streets. You can't get next to the family. So when it's the guys that's in the street, you not prepared. It's never a day, how, this day, I still to this day of my life, don't understand. And I learned that, you know, just growing up, my mom, I mean, it was just another way of growing up, to be careful. When you hang out with guys and when you're around guys, you just gotta be careful. You just never know. You know, people are jealous, they envious, just so much stuff. So it made me grow after that incident even more, to just watch how I was, watch how I move, watch how I carry myself, watch who I hang out with, watch and make sure it's solid people and guys are this, because you don't ever want to get crossed up in the midst of nothing. You don't want to be in that space. That was heartbreaking for me. That was heartbreaking. I just didn't get it. I had to tell Trick he was gone. He called me, and that was the hardest thing I had to come out of my mouth to tell him. And so it was even harder that he was locked up. He was able to come out to come to the funeral. He was chained up, police officers everywhere. He was hurt, he was sad. He was just, because I felt like for him, he felt like he had a gift and a talent. His brother was doing something that was aligned with the gift and the talent. And if this is my brother, you're bringing big acts to the city. I know when I get out of here, I believe in myself. I know I could make it. I know I could, you know, you my brother. And so he had dreams and hopes, and that was shattering. He asked me to come to the studio. I went, I took my friends with me, and he goes, I want you to go in there and get on this record. And I'm like, and do what? And he's like, when you hear the record, you gonna know what to do. Like, listen, I know you're not a rapper. I just need you to go in here and talk. I listened to the record, and I'm like, boy, what am I about to say? Like, this is crazy. I just started saying, oh no. I was like, no, this is way too much. And he was like, man, come on, I need you to do this. You gonna kill this. So I go in there with my friends. This is new for me. I put the headphones on. It's this little stand here. There's the mic, and then there's this stand. And on the stand, there's like a pad, the pen, then it's like my 4 girls right here. I was scared at first. So I was like, okay. So here I go, I'm listening to what Trick got to say. He goes, you don't know now, he doing his little thing, whatever. So now comes to my part, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna say this. And then my girl was like, nah, that's lame, don't say that, you gotta be nasty. So I was like, oh no, I was like, I'm not saying that. So they was really helping me. We was going back and forth, back and forth. They listened to the song. Boy, after that, it was a party. He called the CEO of Slip and Slide. He was like, no, you gotta come to the studio now. So Ted comes to the studio and we play the record and all this, and Ted's like, oh no, we signed a record deal. I was like, oh no, we not. I was like, no, I'm just doing this a favor for Trick. Like, wait, y'all are pushing this way too far. So now the label is now calling me every day, like, you sure you don't want to sign a deal? I'm telling you, all you gotta do is get in the studio with Ross, Trick, all them. It was a lot. So after that, I had just got my little job. I had the job for like 2 weeks. It was at a firm called ERA Homeland Realty. So this particular week, I was about to just go out and go show this house when Trick called. So I was like, okay, cool. I didn't care. I still was gonna go do the favor for him, but I was still going to go do my house. I gotta go to work. I'm gonna do my job, whatever. And then after that, it was Trick's birthday. He had a party. We go to the party, and now Trick is about to perform. Now, previous, you know, this Nan record is something new. I'm not even thinking about this record at the time. And as he's doing his show, the DJ puts on the Nan record. And they're all boosting me up. No, get the mic on. I was like, I'm not going out there and doing it. They pushing me from the back. In the back, I pushed to the top of the stage. And by the time the girl part came on, which was me, the girls were going ballistic. I never said a word. I was so scared. I stood on that stage with that mic with my eyes closed, and I was just scared. I was terrified. And they were singing this record from word to word. I could not believe it. So now, here go the label again with this whole deal thing. Oh my gosh. I think this is when I had started to get anxiety. I go to Tallahassee with them. Trick's doing his whole show. The show is going crazy. Now Nan comes on. And he says, are you ready to see Trina? And the girls is going crazy, crazy, crazy. He plays the song. They go nuts. I walk out, lose it. This is the first time I actually did and performed the song. And from that moment on, I didn't do real estate no more. I said I'm gonna be a superstar.
Chips, Fritos, man.
I get a call from another artist, Ludacris. Ludacris want me to get on the remix to his record, Lick. So I do this record for him. While Trick is going on tour, some of the dates, Ludacris is on the same tour dates. We're kind of on the same dates. So now I have 2 records. So now all eyes is definitely on me, because now I'm performing with Ludacris and Trick on these 2 records that is bubbling up from the South all over everywhere, going crazy. In the midst of that, Atlantic Records wants to give me a record deal. We're on a tour. I signed a deal with Atlantic. So this whole year, we're on the road, just grinding out, working, performing, radio shows, concerts, clubs, nightclubs. But in the midst of this, The only things on my mind is, what about how am I gonna do this for me? It's a lot different than going there with your girlfriends and trying to do this one little verse, this is different.
We did it. We did it. With more rental listings than anybody else, it was just inevitable that you were going to find everything that you were looking for on apartments.com. I mean, come on. Look at this place. It's got, 12-foot ceilings, modern appliances, in-unit laundry, city views, free parking, close to good restaurants. Whoopsie. Bing, bang, bang, bing.
New. So everything was scary. When you say solo project, that seemed like a lot. Like, here I am, I know Trick, I know he's in the studio, I know this is what he does. Like, he had a notebook full of just rhymes and ready to go in the studio at any given time. That wasn't my life. Mine was a little bit more structured. You know, I wasn't like Trick, just in the car writing rhymes. So the guys, I came up with all these guys. There's CO, there was Money Mark, there was Ross, there's Trick, there's like all the groups, everybody that's signed to the label. So the guys would hang out. They're guys. They chasing girls. They doing their thing. I didn't hang out. I didn't party with them. I didn't drink. I didn't do anything. I just went to do the show, got off the stage, and I went to that room, and I got that notebook, and I was writing my life away. Everything I thought about, my history, my friends, the good days, the nasty days, the bad, the fun, whatever happened that was surrounding us, like just about the streets, the life, the hustle, how you getting money, how we came up. This is Miami, this is the home of Luke. The women are voluptuous, the bodies is there, butts is big. So this is my world. How do I incorporate that into my world? Because I was there, I was in it. Like, you know, I just remember just being real young, and Luke shot his video at my dad's store. And of course, my mom wouldn't let me come to the video, but I was at the store. I was in the back hiding because I could see the women, but they were like, you know, the bodies was like my mom's body. So it was like, you're not supposed to be out here. So this is like, I seen all this stuff. I know what's going on. So when I'm in this hotel room and I got this pad, I gotta make these songs for my experiences. And I was able to talk about that because it's real. I came from it. And I would just make that make sense, you know? When I would go to the guys and they was like, what do you need? Like, and it would just be just the structure. Make all these words, all this fly stuff I want to talk about, all these diamonds and these cars, and just let's help me put it into perspective. And that's all I did. I would do it day and night, a year straight on the road from them. I had 1 year because I just had got signed to Atlantic. My album was coming out in 2000. Nan came out in 1998. We went on tour for the whole year of 1999. The Baddest came out in 2000. So I was completely locked in. I wasn't thinking about nothing else but that. I had no distractions. I had all the help from the guys. They were partying. I got a lot of stories from them because they would be always chasing girls. And I was just like, some of these girls, they not like my girls. Like my girls, we ain't pulling up like that. You ain't tricking us to the set like that. Like we just come from a different vibe. So when I see some of these girls, sometimes I would ask them, they know, I would pull them to the side and be like, you so pretty, why you here? Like, why you here with these guys? They'll be like, oh, you just trying to block our vibe. I'd be like, no, because I'm a girl and I'm speaking for these girls. I came up around women, you know, in a beauty salon, it's just women. I mean, these are grown ladies, they're venting, they're going through divorce, they having kids, they telling it all in this salon. So as a kid, I've heard it, so much of it. And just growing, I was always just always like that when it came to women. Like, you gotta boss up, you gotta like push through, you gotta keep moving, because nobody cares. Work harder, nobody's coming to save you. Like, and I believe the only person that saved me is my mom, and she's not here. So I definitely don't depend on nobody coming to save me. That's just in me.
So what did she do when you told her?
That was a wedding gift.
From us.
Never had a problem with Wayne, ever. Wayne was one of the most honest guys I've ever been around, honestly. Wayne and I was really young. I was really young, Wayne was younger. It's two people coming up in the same game, but before me and Wayne was friends. So just being somebody that you know, that's your friend, like, you kind of just, we in the same thing, and we know what goes on in the same thing. Us just coming up and growing up, Wayne was, you know, going through a lot in the situation with his label and his stuff and trying to, you know, make sure he get to the top. This is right before he did Fireman. I was there. I remember him being in like a very pivotal moment, and I was just pushing and pushing, like, whoa, like you it. Like, you gotta turn this around. Like, we gotta figure this out. And he came up with the Fireman, and that was the takeoff. I looked at Wayne as just a really great friend that I could tell any and everything. Wayne and I got engaged, and I don't know if I was ready to handle that or knew how to handle it. Just scared, just young, just chasing your dream, watching somebody else that you already adore and think is so dope, chase their dreams and trying to put that together. Wayne is a workaholic. Wayne is gonna get in the studio 24 hours. He's the most giving, considerate person I've ever met. I just feel like with us, it's one of those things where when you're just young, I feel like just early 20s, that's when the most mistakes is being made. That's when you're trying to figure it out. That's when you're unsure, you're uncertain the most. Like, you don't want to make mistakes, you don't want to fail, you don't want to do nothing for it to not be right. Are you really ready for that? Like, it was just one of those kind of situations. My mom had me at 18. My mom's family's from Nassau, Bahamas. I was gonna be born in Nassau. My mom ended up falling, like tripped off the step and off the bus, fell, had to go to the hospital, almost had a miscarriage. I survived. And then knowing that the person that helped you create me is nowhere in the picture at all, I don't resonate with that when it comes to men. Like, when I say my dad's, that's what I call like showing. You're putting the action. It's just not a word. You're a whole person that created a human, and you were nowhere to be found. So therefore, I'm numb to that. So when it comes to a man, certainty must take place for me. Like reassurance, I need to make sure. At 23 years old, I was in love, but I wasn't sure to be a wife. I didn't want to make the mistake. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what a wife do. Like, back then, it's a scary place of just being me, the girl off Nan, the persona of you feeling like there's this raunchy girl that comes from the city and she got this edge and this spunk, but this sass. The song is the streets, that's what it is. But when I'm with you, it's a whole different person. That's the Trina person. The song is, that's my alter ego, that's an illusion. You could lust and do all it over that, but when it comes to me, it has to be real. Knowing who I am now, I would say there are parts of the relationship I took for granted because I didn't understand or didn't know, or I was unsure. I always put this thing up, and just to be honest, a part of me sometimes I don't know how to not put it up because I don't know how to set myself up for failure. I don't know how to do that. Kenyon Martin became even more of the reason why I have walls up. Kenyon Martin and I were in love, absolutely. This is the expectation. This is the high profile person in the world. I don't know you. I am another person in the world. You knew me before I knew you. You knew who I was. And then this exterior, that persona thing builds up of the girl from Nan. That's the infatuation that men are drawn to. But when I meet her, it's a whole different person. Like the sweetest person. A lot of things went bad, you know? In this thing, I let my entire guard down. I was the most vulnerable I've ever been in any relationship. And then things took a turn where it was no truth and it was no honesty. And that became to bother me. I became to feel unwanted. I became to feel unappreciated. I became to feel all these things that I shouldn't feel. In those situations, when there's a man and he have kids, you know, me without the kids, I go let me be as supportive as I can for that, because I know that can be a touchy situation and things could be all cool until somebody else come in the picture and now you can't see your kids, you can't visit, just the stuff that happens. Oh yeah, don't, just be with me, don't worry about that. That's not me. Trust is the biggest factor for me. I have to trust you. We're both doing our thing. We're both successful, we both make money, we both live our life. But if I trust you and I put my all into you and we're planning a family and we're living a life together, and I don't know how to give the man the power to do that to me.
Take a seat. Get into the mindset that there is no one mindset. Come as you are. Leave as more. More is made.
My album, The One. I've worked on this album for 5 years almost. I mean, I would book the studio, I would go record for months and months and months. Sometimes I wouldn't record nothing. Sometimes I was in a good space. Sometimes I wasn't. The time my mom got sick, this is how I created the Mama song to my mom. I was in a terrible space. My mom was sick. I was just mad at the world. I was angry. I just didn't get it. I was like, here I go, living my best life. Me and my friends, we drink and we party. My mom never drank a sip of wine in her entire life. I don't have a major deal at this time. I'm doing this on my own. We go get a deal with Sony Records. I went to do my album. I put Wayne on my album. I called him, I want him on my album, done. 2 Chainz on my album, done. Plies, done. Rico Love, done. Nicki Minaj, done. It was something that happened when I went to the studio. I went to the studio for a week. I didn't record nothing. All week, the engineer, we just sitting there, nobody's recording. Chef is cooking, I'm just stuck, numb. I'm not writing nothing, I'm listening to music, everything is sad. This record comes up, and I do this record for my mom. My mom was sick. I was like, Mom, like this is a friend of mine comes to the studio to see me. Brian McKinney, this is a friend of mine. I'm gonna stop by and see you. I feel like you just need some, good energy in the studio. He says, I'm gonna bring somebody with me. And I said, okay, cool. He come by the studio. He was in there for like a good 10, 15 minutes, and then Miss Kelly Price walks in the studio. I was so fanned out, my God. I was in tears. I'm already sad, I'm in tears. It was just a lot. And then I just stopped the music. So I'm just like, oh my God, how are you? I can't believe it's you. I can't believe you came in here. Like, I was just so happy. She goes, what are you working on? I'm like, oh, just some music, just my album stuff, whatever. And she say, well, play something. Let me hear what you working on. So we just started playing a track. I was trying to play a little upbeat because I was already with the tears. I'm trying to hold the tears back. And so we go through these songs, and I play the song that I was working on about my mom. As soon as I played the song, she said, stop the music. And she just went in the studio, went in the booth. She just started singing. And it was just, the song was talking about my mom and just me being sad and just me needing her. And then she just went to saying like, Mama, please don't go. And it just went all the way in full tear mode. And when she came out, I was happy, I was sad, I was crying. I just was hugging her so tight. I didn't even want to let her go. I couldn't believe that she just like walked in like her night in Miami, whatever she was doing prior. She got an hour or two to like hang out, and you decide to come by the studio where I'm recording at. I play this record, it's about my mom. You go in the studio, you do the song. The rest is history. Boom, album comes out. Now I'm in a bad situation with members of my team that has not been honest, has not explained to me certain situations. Just, you know what? A lot of it hurt me, and this is 2 years ago. I've grown so much since then. I'm still hurt, I'm gonna be honest. I'm still hurt, but it was just, this album Like, I worked so hard. I went through so much to get the artists that I admire and respect, and just the fact that off of good faith in me and my name, that they made sure to do the songs for me, do the verses, and to get back in time, and they cleared it, and everybody, and it just, it's somebody that still came behind me and screwed me over. That one hurt, you know? It hurt. It hurt to see my album taken off. It hurt to go behind the doors privately to fight to get it back up. We got it back up. We got it back up. You know, a lot of people say they thankful to whoever. I say thankful to my mom, because I know I could feel her. You know, I could feel her everywhere I'm at. I just feel it. And yeah, we fought to get it back. We went through hell. Like, it was almost like somebody just left you to die. So when it comes to that, it's like, it's just not me, it's my whole team. It's those that's riding in the back for me. It's those that's making sure everything goes right. And this person I trusted, this man that I trusted you. You were somebody that you were somebody I allowed to speak for me, to sign for me, to deliver for me, and you failed me. You deliberately betrayed me and you failed me. And there's no forgiveness for that. There's no coming back from that.
I've traveled every road and...
I want to talk about Raymond Taylor, but how much people love you two together.
Raymond is a ball of light. He's just refreshing. He gets me. I feel like he's the male version of me. When it comes to him, he's just there full circle for me, whatever it is.
Is Raymond the one you can finally rely on?
I rely on him because he knows what I need. But I'm still always relying on me, always.
So let me try another way. Is Raymond finally that man who you don't worry is gonna let you down?
When it comes to being let down, there's nobody in this world that might not let you down. Husband, best friend, boss, whatever you have going on, there's a chance that something could probably disappoint you and let you down. For me, my wall is up for that.
My fake plants look amazing in my house.
I can't help it with math anymore.
We didn't do it like how you did it. Dating your brother-in-law.
In-law, my brother.
So when I started my career, kids were totally out of the question. As signed to a label, as a female artist, you were taught and told, you have a kid, that's the end of your career. No, and I mean, I didn't get it then. Well, I did get it, because I was young, so it's like, a kid? How you gonna go on a show? How you gonna do a tour? How you gonna get a role? What you gonna do with the kid? Who's gonna watch it? My mom was there all the time, but thinking, I don't know, just being young, thinking like, is that raising a kid, just dropping off to your grandma, dropping off to grandma's house, dropping off to your mama? Yeah, she's there, but that my mama wasn't dropping me off to nobody's house. I was supposed to have a kid. I had 4 miscarriages. The most hurtful thing in the world to happen as a woman. Sometimes I didn't know how to bounce back from that. Sometimes I screamed, I never want to get pregnant and have a kid in my life. I don't care what nobody's saying. Because what I experienced, it was hurtful. And you're not me, you're not in my shoes, so you can't walk in the pain that I walked in to feel that. Like having a miscarriage, okay, for me, it was 2 attachments. Oh, okay, you're pregnant. This is beautiful at the time because you're in a great relationship. We both want this. Do you tell people? Do you get too excited? You don't make a public, I'm not a public announcement kind of girl. So a couple friends knew, a couple family. Then boom, something go wrong. You have a miscarriage. And everybody's in a huddle crying over you. Now it's a pity party. I don't want the pity party. That's gonna be sad and depressed. I don't want to have that. Don't want to feel like a failure. I don't want to feel like, is it me? Is it my fault? Why? 4 times. I don't even know if I maybe am not supposed to be a mom. Or am I? Maybe you'll be a beautiful mom. And then, when my mom got sick, 2015, I said, do I really want a child? How could I have a child without my mom here? I don't have the connection to go through and see it without her. I don't feel like I have enough. I don't have enough stuff, greatness. I don't know. I don't have what she gave to me to give. I don't know if I have that. Like if she's here, that's the most dependable person for my child. Without her being here, no, I'm not relying. I don't care if it's my husband. Husbands go away, stuff happen, we could fall out, it could be years later, the kid's still gonna be here forever, to the day we leave this earth. I don't even know how to trust that deep. I don't know how to like let go like that. Like nothing feels so safe and so surreal for me. That's just me. Maybe not be for everybody, but for me. I'm just constantly evolving. I just call it growing though. It's like growing up, you know? When it comes to anything, music, everything, like, you know, even with my fans, like, yeah, we all want the Nam record, but Nam was 20 years ago. I was young and wild and crazy. Crazy. I'm more chill and grown and mature. I know what I want. I'm grounded, I'm solid. Music led into one thing, want me to do my own company, my own label. Just wanting to just evolve in a way where you have new rules, new obligations, new goals. That's how I look at my life. Every day I wake up with a new goal. To be better than I was yesterday. To be better than I was hours ago. I may have been on a phone call and I hated the call. It wasn't what I wanted. How do I make this call turn out to be execution for me? Hours later down the line, how do I benefit from it? How can I turn this disaster into like triumph? How can I master from this? That's how I always think. No matter what it is thrown against me, I'm always thinking of how can I execute the plan. I learned that from my mom though. She always played by her rules and she always won. So for me, don't play by nobody else's rules because you set yourself up for failure and disappointment. Because you trusted somebody that can possibly let you down. If I trust me and this don't work out, it's all or nothing. And I don't blame nobody but me. I'm gonna take the L, and I'm gonna come back up for a win. That's just the way it go.